I've been protesting along with many others this energy gas storage facility on Seneca Lake for a long time now. And I've been arrested twice for committing civil disobedience. The first time I was convicted at trial, even though no one testified that I was on Energy's property. I was convicted of trespassing, which is absurd, and we're appealing that decision for that and other reasons. The second trial was moved to a different court because the judge in the first court had already ruled and didn't want it, I think, to seem prejudicial that he'd already issued a ruling and was hearing a second case. And to my surprise, when we got to the second court for my arraignment, where I just entered a plea of not guilty and it was all very routine, the district attorney asked the judge to grant a restraining order to keep me away from the protest site. My lawyer objected that you can't do a restraining order for a corporation, but only for an individual under the law. And the district attorney said, well, then we'll make it for a restraining order against Barry Moon, who is the, allegedly, I don't know the man, the manager of the site. I told the judge, I don't even know this gentleman, and therefore, how would I obey this order? Because I could be standing next to him and I wouldn't know it. This apparently cut no ice with the judge because he signed the restraining order. And then they even, I think rather cavalierly, extended it to 100 feet that I can't be within the fence of the energy facility, which means I can't even drive on Route 14, which goes by it. And they further stipulated that I can't have any third-party contact, meaning I cannot tell somebody to go there, even for a peaceful protest or for any reason. Now, we're not talking about chaining yourself to the gate here. I'm opposed to this project, and I have been stripped of my right to tell people this is bad and you ought to protest, go up there and picket or whatever. If I do that, I'll be in serious trouble now with the law. So essentially, I've been given a severe penalty, the loss of my freedom of speech and the loss of my freedom of association and whatever else goes into that. And I haven't even been convicted at trial on this charge. This is just a favor for the DA or whatever. And I question how it can be constitutional to issue a restraining order on behalf of a corporation, no matter what fig leaf they use. Just because the corporation may not like what I have to say doesn't mean I should be stripped of my rights. This is not America anymore. And I have since then found out that this tactic is starting to be used elsewhere. Apparently it was used with the drone protesters in Syracuse as well.
And very quickly, why exactly are you protesting the facility in the LPG facility, and on what grounds do they have the right to give this restraining order between you and the facility's alleged manager?
I can't really speak to their grounds because this order of protection, technically, which restrains me, was, as far as I'm concerned, granted on the basis of a wink and a nod between the DA and the judge and a legal fiction that they're protecting this gentleman, Barry Moon, who I don't even know. I think it's a real abasement of our rights as Americans and just one more terrible thing that's happening in our country. As for the storage facility, the reason why we are against, or I should say, the reasons why we are against the gas storage facility are too numerous to mention here. I'll just mention one. This same facility was rejected by the Department of Energy for the storage of nuclear waste because they found it too dangerous. There is a fault line running right through it. Now, the Energy Corporation has got the brilliant idea that they're going to store billions of cubic feet of flammable gas in a salt cavern storage facility with a fault line running right through it. How dumb is that? How dangerous is that? That's crazy. But unfortunately in America today, there doesn't seem to be any restraint on the crazy schemes of industry. We are really now increasingly at the mercy of these people, and that's why the slogan of my newspaper is we're citizens, not subjects. We are citizens. We should have a say in what happens to us. This is unacceptable.
And would you say that you and the number of other people who are protesting this facility are doing so because they feel that their health and safety is threatened by it. And so the question that comes to mind for me is, why can't you and all the other people who feel like they are legitimately threatened file for an order of protection against the corporation and the facility's managers?
I actually asked my lawyer that exact question. We had a conference when this thing was proposed, and I said, can I talk to my lawyer? And I said, why can't we get a restraining order against them? And he said, the problem is that they haven't been charged with anything. You've been charged, meaning me, with something, and therefore there can be a restraining order in relation to me. But Energy is scot-free. No one's charging them with anything, and from what I can see, no one's regulating them either. That's why. But yes, of course we should be able to restrain them. That's why we're protesting.
Yeah. And so, just very quickly wrapping up, where do you see this issue going forward? I guess if you can give us some hint as to what your plans are to continue with in the future, and also thinking about what do you think this particular event with the order of protection being brought up, what do you think that represents as far as the relationship between our police state and our corporate state?
Well, I'm at the limit personally of what I can do. If I go up to that site now, I could be facing very serious consequences, and I just can't do that. So, my lawyer will file motions to get this order lifted. We're going to continue the appeals on my first case. We're going to fight this case as best we can, or make the best decisions we can in relation to it. But in general, what can anybody say? We're living in a time now when the President of the United States says he has the power and the right to assassinate American citizens without trial, and Congress just handed him some bill in the Defense Reauthorization Act that says the Army can now round up American citizens and hold them forever without trial. So what's happened to me is a small thing. It's just a kind of grassroots thing, but we are facing a situation in America of absolute tyranny. They are trying to turn this country into a third world dictatorship, a banana republic where it's all about the oligarchy and the army versus everybody else. And obviously we have to resist this in any way we can. This is no longer America. This is some aberration, and it's something we've got to resist if we can.
Jeremy Alderson is the editor and publisher of the No Frack Almanac. He's a local activist and a local journalist and a resident of Hector, New York. I'm Chris Knight, WRFI Community Radio News, Watkins Glen, Ithaca.